Hello, everybody. My name is Max, and welcome to another pronunciation lesson. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at sentence stress. Sentence stress is something really important. You have to learn which word in a sentence you have to put this stress on it. You're going to learn in this lesson how to do that. What does it mean if you, for example, change this stress? And definitely in your speaking section, part 2, part 3 is going to be really helpful. So without any hesitation, let's begin. All right, as we mentioned, we stress the words in sentences that we particularly want our listener to hear, the words which carry the most meaning. These are usually nouns, verbs, or adjectives, not as small grammatical words such as articles, prepositions. So we don't put the stress usually on them. We usually put the stress on nouns, verbs, or adjectives, but we have to check which word is better to put the stress on, because if you just do it differently, the meaning might change. We're going to take a look at tons of examples in this lesson so that you learn to see how you can put this stress on different words. All right. Now, first of all, let's take a look at these sentences here. I want you to do something. I want you to take a look at them and see which words you think are stressed in these sentences. Pause the video, try to just underline whatever you think, read the sentences one time for yourself, and after that, I'm going to play the audio file. Based on the audio file, you have to try to underline the stressed words in each sentence. Remember, we're not taking a look at individual syllable stress. We're taking a look at a word stress in a sentence. Okay, so let's start. Very good. Did you do it? Awesome. Now let's listen.
Firstly, they're getting some exercise, which is always good for you.
2,
It's great for your health and helps you to relax.
3,
At the same time, they're having fun together,
4,
which is important because it builds up their social relationships and their friendships.
5,
Also, it's good to see boys and girls doing a bit of sport together instead of separately.
6,
I think it helps break down social boundaries between boys and girls.
Very good. Now let's take a look at the answer and see how they did that. So now let's listen one more time, this time with the answers, and see why or how they put a stress in these words.
Firstly, they're getting some exercise, which is always good for you.
2,
It's great for your health and helps you to relax.
3,
At the same time, they're having fun together,
4,
which is important because it builds up their social relationships and their friendships.
5,
Also, it's good to see boys and girls doing a bit of sport together instead of separately.
6,
I think it helps break down social boundaries between boys and girls.
Very good. So as you can see here, for all these examples, we're putting the stress on the word that carries the meaning. So the meaning is important for us here in these examples, and we want to just tell the examiner, listen to the words that I'm saying and listen to those that are more important, such as the first one. It says, firstly, they're getting some exercise, which is always good for them or good for you. Or number 2, it's great for your health and helps you to relax. You see the meaning, these words are carrying the meaning of the sentence. So we just want to put the stress on those words in order to make the listener understand better what we are saying. Now, remember, there is no such a thing as a certain rule to put the stress on this word or that word. You can put the stress on any word you want in a sentence. But if you do it wrongly, like if you put the stress on for, on you, the meaning might be different and changes. Of course, nobody put the stress on prepositions or articles or something like that. But you can do it, but doesn't make any sense and we don't do it. So you should not do it either. Now, what else we have here? Let's try to take a look at another example.
Firstly,
We're going to check out these sentences as well. First, what I want you to do is take a look at the example down here. Now, this is an example of speaking part 2, okay, where you have to compare the pictures. Now, what I want you to do is to look at how he is contrasting ideas and information with putting the stress on those words that carry the meaning of contrasting, showing the difference in the sentences. Before listening, try to guess which words in this sentence, starting with anyway, is a stress, which words are stress in this sentence, and then I'm going to play the audio file for you to listen and check out the stressed words, okay? You're going to start. All right, did you do it? Fantastic. Let's listen.
Anyway, the first photo shows a girl serving young people in a restaurant, whereas in the second photo, a boy is working with children.
Fantastic. Now you can see that how he was trying to put the stress on those words that they are showing the contrast. It means they're different. One thing is the same. He's not trying to talk about the things that are the same here. He's trying to talk about the things that are different. For example, in the first photo, in the second photo, so you see second and first, they're contrasting, right? They're kind of opposite of each other. Girl, boy, they are opposite of each other. So he's trying to put the stress on those words to show to the examiner that those words are important, and he's trying to contrast ideas with those words. Now let's watch it one more time here and listen.
Anyway, the first photo shows a girl serving young people in a restaurant, whereas in the second photo, a boy is working with children.
Very good. So the things that are different here, as we mentioned, first, second, girl, boy, young people, children, restaurant. So these are that probably he's trying to contrast, and that's why he's trying to put the stress on those words, because they carry the meaning of contrasting, and she's trying to just show the differences in the sentences. And in that case, this is really good to do that, and you can show to the examiner that you're putting the stress on those words that carry the meaning in the sentence. And definitely you can get some extra points by just putting the stress on those words. Definitely is going to help you to get some extra points for your pronunciation section. Now let's go to the other part. Now let's try to decide which words are stressed in these sentences, and then we're going to listen and check. Again, it's the same scenario. You have to find out which words are trying to contrast ideas, and based on that, you have to underline. So first, without listening, try to guess the words that are stressed, and then we're going to listen, and then you can check your answers. All right, did you do it? Fantastic. So let's listen.
The girl's job may be full-time, whereas the boy's is probably part-time. The girl can learn how to keep customers happy, while the boy has to keep children in order. He'll probably learn not just to deal with children, but also their parents.
I'd prefer to coach children than work in a restaurant, because really I enjoy being in the fresh air more than being indoors.
Very good. Now, as you can see, again, they were trying to put the stress on those words that they somehow show the contrasting ideas. They try to contrast ideas at the same time putting the stress on those words that they carry the meaning of this. Now, let's try to watch the answers. Take a look at the answers with listening to the audio file again.
The girl's job may be full-time, whereas the boy's is probably part-time. The girl can learn how to keep customers happy, while the boy has to keep children in order. He'll probably learn not just to deal with children, but also their parents.
I'd prefer to coach children than work in a restaurant, because really I enjoy being in the fresh air more than being indoors.
Very good. Now look at the first sentence again. What are the things that are different here? Girls, boys. So these are the contrasting things. We're contrasting the boy, the girl, full-time, part-time. So again, these are kind of the opposite of each other or different from one another. The same as here, again, girl, boy, customers happy, children in order. So different things, not basically opposite of each other, but different things. Here, the girl can learn how to keep customers happy, while the boy has to keep children in order. So they have different jobs, and that's what we are contrasting, and that's what you have to put the stress on. Or he'll probably learn not just to deal with children, but also their parents. So again, parents, children, this is what we are contrasting here, and that's what we have to put the stress on. The next one, I'd prefer to coach children than working in a restaurant. So again, the job, we're focusing on the job. Because really I enjoy being in the fresh air more than being indoors. Now here again, the difference, we are contrasting things such as coach children and restaurants, or they also carry the meaning of the sentence as well somehow. So that's why we are putting the stress on these words to show to the examiners what we are contrasting and what is important. Now, when you are trying to practice for part 2 or any other parts, try to remember whenever you're contrasting ideas, put the stress on those words that you're contrasting. In that way, it's not very difficult, first of all, to do it. Listen to your voice when you are recording, when you're recording your voice. After you listen, try to also check this to see where you're putting the stress. Do not read or say it like a robot. Try to have some kind of stress on some words. Try to say some words stronger. Show to the examiner that you have sentence stress and you're not just saying sentences like a robot. Yesterday, I went to this school and it was fun. No, this is like a robot. You should not sound like this. There should be up and downs, intonations, linking words, sentence stress. We're going to talk about all the other things as well in this course. Don't worry about it. But one of the things that you have to work on it is called sentence stress. Now, also we can use sentence stress to emphasize certain words in a sentence. This is also really important because sometimes you want to change the meaning of the sentence by just emphasizing or let's say putting a stress on one word to changing the meaning of the sentence and emphasizing a word. Let's see how we can do it. Let's watch a video together and understanding how we can do that. And this video is from Top Notch. Let's watch this.
Stress to emphasize meaning. We use stress and intonation to show which word in a sentence is the most important for the meaning of the sentence. Listen to some different ways we can say this sentence. Do you think he'll win the election? 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 In questions, we normally stress the word at the end of the question. Listen. Do you think he'll win the election? The intonation changes on this word. The voice usually rises slightly on the stressed syllable. Listen again. Do you think he'll win the election? However, we sometimes stress another word to give the sentence a slightly different meaning. Listen to these examples. If I say, do you think he'll win the election? The meaning is probably, what is your opinion, not other people's opinions. If I say, do you think he'll win the election? The meaning is probably, do you think that he, and not someone else, will win the election? If I say, do you think he'll win the election? The meaning is probably, I'm surprised that you expect him to win, not lose. Listen to the different ways that we can say these examples. Notice how the different stress changes the meaning. Do you like to discuss politics? Do you like to discuss politics? Do you like to discuss politics? They're happy with the new president. They're happy with the new president. They're happy with the new president. Now, listen and repeat. Click on pause after each sentence. Do you like to discuss politics? Do you like to discuss politics? Do you like to discuss politics? They're happy with the new president. They're happy with the new president. They're happy with the new president.
Very good. So as you can see, by putting the stress on certain words, you can change the meaning of a sentence. So when you're asking a question from your partner, like in part 3, when you're asking questions in part 4, you got to be careful where you're putting the stress. For example, if you say, do you like this? Not anybody else. When you're putting the stress on you, and say, do you like this? It means I'm talking to you, not other people. Or do you like this? I'm just putting the stress. It means like you don't hate it, you just like it. So you see, the meaning can changes by putting the stress on certain words, but you got to be very careful where you're putting the stress. If you don't want to put the stress on any words, you just have to put it at the end of the questions. Mostly normal situations, we put the stress on the last word of the questions. On this, when we were talking about the sentences, we put the stress on the words that we talked about earlier, like contrasting ideas, but sometimes it's possible to change that stress based on what we want to say. So we can change it, like they're happy with the new president, or they're happy with the new president. When you say they're happy with the new president, it means that those people, not anybody else, other people are sad. Probably that's what we are saying. Or they're happy with the new president. It means this new president. With other presidents or the old one, they were probably really sad or not happy. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to underline the words that are used to emphasize here. And I want you to think, how does the different emphasis change the meaning of what he says? So listen to these examples. They're the same examples, but try to listen and see what's the difference.
The girl seems to be working with equipment in a factory. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but she could be building a machine or something. The girl seems to be working with equipment in a factory. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but she could be building a machine or something.
Very good. Now let's take a look at the answer. So the first one, let's listen one more time.
The girl seems to be working with equipment in a factory. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but she could be building a machine or something. The girl seems to be working with equipment in a factory. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but she could be building a machine or something.
Very good. So as you can see in the first example, he's trying to emphasize the fact that he's speculating. For example, the girl seems to be working with equipment in a factory. I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, but she could be doing. So he's trying to emphasize the speculation. Whereas in the second example, he's trying to emphasize the different possible activities. So again, it's up to you. You can choose the one, but you cannot emphasize all of them at the same time. But when you're emphasizing, for example, the possibilities of the activities, just try to emphasize those words. But if you're just emphasizing the speculation or trying to talk about the things that probably is happening, you can emphasize those words, like the example A, which is really good for part 2, part 3, part 1, part 4. In all parts, basically, that's going to be really helpful when you're putting the stress on those words that you want to carry and you want to explain. If your job here, for example, in one sentence, Put the stress on all those words that you want to speculate. On another, for example, sentence, put the words, let's say, put the stress on those words that you want to, for example, let's say, emphasize the different activities they're doing. And you can just play with it, but do not mix them up. Try to focus on those things, and it's not really difficult. Try to practice it a couple of times when you're doing part two. When you're recording your voice, try to do it. Try to practice a couple of times. One practice, just put it for sentence stress. That doesn't matter. You don't need to practice everything at the same time. Just when you're recording your voice, when you're answering any questions from part 1 to part 4, just try to do it once. Try to just answer the question with putting the stress on certain words that you want, and try to practice it a couple of times. That doesn't kill you, and it's pretty easy to practice it that way. Record your voice, listen to it, and see whether you're putting the stress correctly or not. If you are putting the stress on those words that you're speculating, or if you want to put the stress on those other things that you want to explain, do it a couple of times and you'll see how easy it is. It's not a difficult thing, and it's not going to be so difficult to practice. Just a couple of times you do it, and definitely you will be master it 100% with sentence stress. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next lesson.